Okay, welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Cigar Talk, where we keep it real, we keep it funky, and we talk about real topics with real people and discuss real problems and try to find real solutions. So, as we tap in, right? So, I think this particular topic comes up a lot across multiple platforms, right? So, when you think about the term generational wealth, what does that mean to you? Do you and when you talk about what that means to you, do you feel like you ever reached the end goal where you feel like you crossed the finish line? And what does that look like for you?
The generational wealth means to me, or what I think it means across the borderline is one person make the fortune, but how do you get the pass the wealth on to the next generation, pass the wealth on to the next generation, to pass it on, pass the baton. Basically, it's to pass the baton. One person or several people need to make it, and then pass it to generations. So, but where we at now is one person make it, but they don't pass it on, and if they do pass it on, they not able to pass it on. Some people got it down pat. Other, in my opinion, other cultures have it down well packed because they developed a family and systems in their family to pass down things like that,
You just
which
you said,
makes
yeah, you
yeah
said two key
every
things there, right? They develop their family and systems. You know what I mean? It's a structure in place. Because it's just not enough, right? So let's just say I got 5 kids, right, and I got $10 million in assets, and I pass away tomorrow, right, and everything goes down to them. Um, the only way that continues is, in my opinion, is like if uh, I've instilled in them the necessary tools or even the ability to seek out those resources that will help them continue to where those assets continue flowing for their family and continue on. Like you hit it on the head. Like it seems like from the outside looking in, we have that one person within the family that obtains these assets, but I don't think it gets passed on like from a mental standpoint or where given a better understanding of financial education.
Yeah, I think it starts with the mind first. One of my favorite books that really altered and transcended my mind was by Napoleon Hill. That's called Outwitting the Devil, The Secrets of Freedom and Success. And it talks about race, religion, chastising your children, and then also instilling them with discipline. I think one of the key factors that we don't start off early enough is the freedom of understanding, the freedom with choice. That's all really wealth is freedom. I think if you start from the philosophy or principles of looking at other cultures, denominations, and religions, they all talk about freedom and different perspectives of God. Often our children, we chastise them and tell them that they can't do this and they can't do that. But one of the favorite things about the book, I think it acknowledges that not only can you do something, but here's why you shouldn't do the other thing. And now you have a choice. So I think early on, if we teach ourselves or search for understanding that there's a choice to have freedom and wealth, we might dive a little bit deeper earlier. And we also instill that confidence into others and say that you can do it too. That changes the perspective and dynamic of the mind.
To me, I agree with Avery and Jonathan with wealth. To me, wealth is having a system in place that you could pass down to your family that continues to make money. That's a successful plan or whatnot. Either it's a business, if it's real estate, or if it's maybe like stocks or stock bonds or something that you're passing down that's continuing to make money. I don't think that, and your second part, I don't think that you can reach wealth. I think it could be because it could always be broken. Like you can pass it down to your children, and at some point, if they don't follow that system that you said, it can break. You know, if you don't follow your business plan, your business can go down and you can lose wealth. So I don't think you can always just reach wealth, but I think you can reach a system that you can put in place to your family that you can pass down to generation to generation. So to me, wealth is just having a system. Like I said, whichever it's a business, if it's bonds, you teaching your kids this. Hey, get this bond. Continue to grow with this bond. Here's my business. This is my business plan. Follow this business plan, and you'll be successful. You don't, it's just having a system in place. Wealth is just having a great system.
Yeah,
To
and
me.
I think a part of it is allowing kids to stay in their creative juices, right? Because I think the tools that my grandfather would have gave me if he was still alive wouldn't have been applicable to what I need now. I think the world changes so much. If you look at how the world changes over a decade to 20 years or whatever, even where we headed now, if you look at what's happening with cryptocurrency, you look at AI. So business plans will look different now. You know what I mean? It ain't about manning anymore or whatever. When you factor in AI and robotics and all these different things now, whatever, like things are ran differently. So I think definitely putting them in those rooms where they can educate themselves. Because I mean, you start a great business and you running it well. Like what they need for that business to be successful may not be the same thing. The basics of like committing and perseverance and good character and all that stuff. Yeah, that's your basics. But I'm talking about as far as like education and kind of looking out at the forefront and stuff like that, of seeing where this business needs to be in 10 to 15 years to survive. That's really on your children and your children's children to educate themselves. So
Agreed.
But Ricky's touched on something, and it is a mindset, and it had me
Yeah.
thinking, how do you pass your mindset on to your children? You can't do that.
mm-hmm.
You understand? And that gets people, well, it gets me in a lot of trouble because you think the person next to you is supposed to think like you. That's
Mm-hmm.
what really frustrates us all. You'd be like, how you not think about that? Yeah, they didn't think about it because they don't have your life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't like you. They didn't read the books that you read, so they can't have the same mind frame. And even if they did do exactly everything you did together, they walked away with something different than you did.
Yeah.
But and this is if that system is in place, because I went to school for finances and studied. I'm not a wizard, but I think you can put enough money into account and then keep putting that money into account until you die, and disperse a certain amount of dollars to children and make them put in to where y'all would never have to work again. If one person just started it, especially if when they little, if you have a child, put $10,000 in there, when that kid gets 20, 30 years old, and you release the funds and you keep the funds in there, only take away the equity from it, but leave the principal in, everybody's going to be rich.
Yeah.
That's not a large amount of money, but you disperse it in small amounts. But as the family grows, it's going to be more and more money. So you would never run out because the machine is the economy. You let the economy run it for you. Ford is not here no more, but they still building cars. He letting the economy do everything for him. This family not lifting no heavy weight.
Yeah, Steve Jobs not here no more, but Tim Cook isn't. Like, there's nobody innovative that's in Apple right now, but they understand business and how to maintain a monopoly. Think about it. The iPad hasn't changed in 7 years. The iPhone hasn't changed. They adding new products, but it's nothing innovative that's mind-blowing at this point anymore.
Yeah. But as kids, I feel as kids though, that as our Black culture, we're not really taught that though. Like we're not taught well. We're taught, that go to school, like you said, work day to day. We ain't. So it is a mindset. What your guys are saying. It is because I know me personally, I never was taught that. I was taught you better go to school and become a cop or, a doctor. A doctor or something. But it's not. You could be a doctor, you won't be wealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
But
got to know where to put your money. You got to know where to invest your money. You can
but
never say if a doctor is just a doctor, he's
yeah.
not wealthy. If he
But
didn't invest
it's
his money
one.
somewhere,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You won't be wealthy. So it is like teaching. You got to teach. It's a mindset thing.
But it's one thing that I think I consider it an asset that should have crossed over from a generational perspective. And I bring this up is because when I look on like your social media settings and platforms or whatever, I'm watching these people pass away and they putting out these GoFundMe's or whatever, asking for donations for money to bury these people or whatever. Life insurance. If you get yourself life insurance, you can set your family up for success. I don't understand like why you don't have it or whatever. Like, and it's only $25 a month or whatever. Like
$9.99 a month, man.
You know what I mean? Like it's no reason not to have. It's no reason not to have it. If you want to get the $1 million plan, it's like $74. Like it's not that bad. Like or whatever. Like you setting your family up or whatever. And it kind of hit my family personally or whatever. Like my grandfather before he passed or whatever, he had $1 million life insurance plan, but he stopped paying on it 6 months before he passed.
Right.
So, and that changed that, and then that one decision changed the dynamic of my family. That required my grandmother, who hadn't worked in 30 years, to go work a job. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to keep our head above water and stuff like that or whatever. So I always keep stuff like that in the back of my mind, like those. I take those small lessons from my own family lineage or whatever and say, if I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna at least do this, and then I'm gonna pack on top of that. So,
yeah.
That's how people got rich back in the day, life insurance.
Yeah. It's the easiest one. If you don't do nothing else or whatever, you like, man, I don't even care to get rich or whatever. That's the least you can do.
Do that. Yeah.
That's the least you can do. All right. So for our second question, all right, let's get into more, I guess, more management and views of finances. I was reading an interesting stat, right? And so in 2018, 68% of Americans couldn't afford $1,000 emergency. Why do y'all think that is?
Back to what Ricky was saying, I gotta give props to that Outwitting the Devil. I read that several times.
Very good book.
I still will pull that out and be like, dang, ain't that interesting? But the Outwitting the Devil is like outwitting the monster in your mind that's stopping you from getting you where you need to be. The reason why they don't have 1,000 is because they don't have the mindset to get this, to save the 1,000. You've been brainwashed by so much media that you don't have it in you you don't even think. I haven't seen a savings commercial or an investment commercial out of all the media that I watch or that be on TV. If you don't click on it, it's just not coming in there. It's not coming on like that.
It's not profitable for them to save money.
Avery, in elementary school, they brought the banks to the elementary school.
Yeah, they did. I remember that. They sure did.
Exactly. And you would go, I would be excited for Friday to come so my mom could give me some change or a couple of dollars so I can put in the savings account. There's nothing about that anymore.
It's true.
There's nothing about that anymore. And $1,000, I'm sure everybody make $1,000 a paycheck. It's a mindset.
Yeah. And even if you don't, that's even more reason to be putting money aside.
But again, the gap is in development.
Yeah.
My parents never taught me, you know. I'm sure most other people's parents, the people who are wealthier, who have that mindset, their parents developed them in a certain way. That is the gap that I see in a lot of our challenges that has brought upon us. We're not developed like an athlete is developed from high school to college to NFL and then maintain and then on the downcline. You know what I'm saying? If we would develop our children as the athletes are developed, it would be a whole different ball game for anybody. I'm not just talking black, white, whatever. If we were developed, that's where the gap comes in. That's where the wealth gap comes in. The education and knowledge comes in with development.
I think so. I think a lot of it is our upbringing and where we're starting it, right? So a large majority of people are growing up in these poor neighborhoods and they not really experiencing money, right? When you first get your first job or whatever, you don't want to you trying to do as much as you can to look less like that world you trying to get away from or whatever. So you get consumed with getting these cars, clothes, and it's really noticeable, especially in a black community or whatever. Getting caught up in like needing like jewelry and stuff, and it's nothing wrong with those things, right? But if the first time you get money and you're not putting nothing towards assets to make you build more money, that's your first thing to spend it or whatever. That's kind of hustling backwards. So I think it's just like the thing we use to push us, like growing up in poverty, single parent household, trying to build a family is the same thing that's hindering us because I don't think we're using it correctly. So I guess it kind of go back to what Ricky says, the mindset part of it or whatever. Like we got the right idea, we just not processing, we not getting the right information to get us where we need to be and to be able to sustain it.
Yeah, I think like it's funny now because like that $1,000 mindset, like even when I struggled extremely hard because I was trying to transition from business person slash entrepreneur to like career worker. Like I really felt like entrepreneurship was the thing for me. And like it was so easy to like see other people who were successful. And it was like I went on like a American Express group. They just let me in. It's like we don't care. We'll show you how we live our lives. And guys are literally taking $30,000 trips and charging it with their charge card. And I was like, man, this is possible. And it's like, it's like I went to the lounge and got some free food because I needed it. But in the back of my mind, it's like it's so easy for us to say I cannot do this that we don't realize that we can. If you simply just have like a decent credit score, like and have a subtle jobs, you can easily say, you know what, my tires went flat. I have a credit card. Boom, there's that $1,000 that I need. Or, I have like prime example, a Cash App card, and I borrowed so much money and I paid it back. There's the money that you need. This notion of that I can't do this because I don't have this, or I can't do that because I can't. That's gone. One of my favorite artists who gives lectures was Neville Goddard, and he said, ask and it is given, and the spirit of Christ is within you, and then go forth as it is done. He didn't say go forth and continue to pray. He didn't say go forth and I think I'm gonna get it. No, it's done, and people don't realize that's how simple the life and mind is. Like once you've turned that switch on in your mind that I'm gonna be all right, you're gonna be all right, and that's it. So I think it just like you said again, it's a mindset and developing early from an environmental standpoint. Um, Once we see people that have done it and they say hello to us and they open the door for us, mentally and physically or metaphorically, then we feel like we can open those same doors and say good morning and hello to other people as well.
Agree with all you guys. Jonathan made a big point. The biggest point of people why they can't save $1,000 is to me is trend. That's what it is. You see social media, like you said, you want them shoes, you want that. Ricky got that nice polo hat. I want me one. You know what I'm saying? I just started. I got this plan in place that I just started. For every dollar that I make, I think I might have told you guys before. For every dollar, I just did this. Started doing this for the last 2 years. For every dollar, no matter what it is, I take 75% of it. That's for me. 10% of it, saving it. 15%, I'm investing it. And that's for every dollar. If you do that, trust me, $1,000 coming easy.
Yeah.
And that's 75%. That's paying my bills. That's me going out. If I want to take my girl out, if I want to go, shopping, whatever. That's in my 75%. The rest is me investing or me saving. And that's for every dollar. And once you start doing that, you'll see how easy it is to start saving money. And like I said, I just started probably like 2 years ago, and I see like, hey, having that plan, get your plan going. Like you can save. Anybody can save $1,000. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't save $1,000, you're a failure. To me, $1,000 now, you can save $1,000.
And it's like
$1,000.
it's like interesting, right? Because it's like so many other ways you can go about it or whatever. So like, and I don't think a lot of people just don't know or whatever. So like, I was telling somebody the other day because they was like, I don't have a savings, I don't invest or anything. I just got my checkings account or whatever. And I was just like, man, you can use your stock account like a checking account or whatever. Like most these investment accounts that give you their own version of kind of like a checking account or whatever. And what you can do is you can take that money that you direct deposit and invest in stocks. And so let's say you got a portfolio, like you just bought just ETFs or something like that, and your stock portfolio is like 15,000. You can borrow up to 75% of your own stock portfolio and not have to pay no interest on it or whatever, on your own money or whatever. Like, and there's so many other avenues or whatever. I think it's just we just don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know that right to just now, so I'm just telling you, it's a mindset. It's all about getting out there, getting around people that know money. Like Ricky said, get into their club. He ran into that, whatever. What kind of club you said it was? You ran into?
Yeah,
it's about just joining stuff, man. Join stuff that you think you wouldn't like or whatever, and just join in and start figuring out stuff. Cause
that's true.
That's what I would tell everybody. That's the best thing to do.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I jumped in a Lamborghini club on Facebook. I said, man,
I remember you always telling me the club. I forgot you told me one club a long time ago. Hey, man, you got to get up in there, man. They was talking about all kinds of stuff.
And it's funny Rick say that or whatever, because one of my patients, like she added me in two groups or whatever. One of them is like an American Express group or something like that, because I think for military members that fee gets waived. So that's why like a lot of military members get that card or whatever. And then she added me in this other one, VA to Millionaire. So, because like with that VA loan, we can use it every year. We just will have to live in the property for 12 months, and then you can rent it out and move on and kind of reciprocate the process or whatever. And it's just interesting or whatever, because there's people in these groups that's been doing this for like 40 years, like, and they not hiding the information or whatever. It's just, you literally just have to be looking for it nowadays. It's interesting.
Yeah. And we got the biggest platform right now. Can't nobody have that excuse, bro. The biggest platform. You can go to Facebook, get into Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Stop using Facebook to post, oh, I went out and had these crawfish last night. I had this suit on.
That's
Go in
true.
there, join them groups, and you start seeing people mindset.
Yeah.
Join all those groups. Your Facebook should be lined up with number groups.
Yeah.
Instead of all these friends that I'm following and all this stuff. Start following groups. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And I think that's the way social media was originally designed, right? I think it kind of drifted off into all these other things or whatever.
Yeah. People just don't know. All these people that's posting these Instagram, everybody, you should be making money. You should be making money. Every time you post something, that should be your money, But you don't, you got to start joining those groups to do that type of stuff.
Yeah. That's facts. All right. So to go into our third question, right? If you had to choose one of the following options, which would you choose and why? So option A is $1 billion, but you can only live 10 more years. Or option B, $100,000 a year and you live to be 100.
I take option B, me. I don't need $1 billion. Nor, I don't need $1 billion, nor do I need, I would say 100,000. I think 100, don't get me wrong, 100,000 is a nice amount of money. And some people would say it ain't no money. To live a high quality life, it's only so much money you can make that before it doesn't how much money you make. And they say that number is what, $20,000. So I think after you make like $250 or it doesn't really matter how much money you make after that.
Yeah. And I think if you use Daniel's philosophy or whatever, you're gonna end up being a millionaire pretty fast.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
But so after you do that, then what? There ain't nothing else to conquer.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't not. If just the time frame, if you would use the little bit you have and start saving before, you know, if you was 20 and you started saving, by the time you 30, you gonna have so much money in your bank. You gonna make everybody, and even if it's the amount is minuscule that you saving.
Yeah.
So it's not really necessary the shovel that you have or the amount of money that you make, is what you're doing with it.
It's really the consistency, man. Like consistently, like poking it away at it or whatever. Like that. That's what I've learned or whatever. Like it ain't really about the amount so much or whatever. Start early and don't stop.